What's going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to show you how to climb the 10K a month ladder. And to be honest, for whatever reason, the industry does not like to talk about this. Instead, they'd rather push you down a narrative where magically, as a beginner, you can go from 0 to 10K. But that couldn't be further from the truth, right? There's steps in between that you need to take to get there, and that's something nobody ever wants to talk about. And I completely get it, by the way. I understand why you want to get to that 10K a month level because it looks fun. It looks rewarding, right? Life looks really good on the other side. But stuff needs to happen in between then, and nobody is talking about what happens in between. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to break it down visually as best as possible for the sake of you understanding and implementing as soon as you get off of this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by trying to draw the most convincing ladder I can possibly draw. And really what has to happen here is, number one, you have to just acknowledge that you are making no money, right? Chances are you watching this video are probably working a 9 to 5. You've tried to start other stuff online and it just hasn't panned out. But this is your situation here, right? It's $0, and that's completely fine. But if you can acknowledge this, everything is going to change for you, okay? Because again, we have been sold this pipe dream that from here, you can essentially somehow jump here and make 10K a month. But that's hard, right? It's really hard. It's tricky, and a lot of people just won't talk about it because it's not fancy, it's not exciting, it's not out of the norm. So I'm talking to those who really want to take that realistic path and that guaranteed path towards getting to this point and taking these steps, okay? But what we need to do is figure out what these look like. What do these little bumps in between here look like? Because they're not really that straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and pretty much unveil my hypothesis around actually getting to this point, because this is exactly how I did it. So I'm speaking from experience here. So what we need to do is we need to get to this point here first. We need to take the first step. And really what that looks like is we need to make our first $1,000 online. And I know for me personally, when I first made that $1,000 online, everything changed. Literally everything changed. The way I saw the online business world completely just went it just went into this whole different dimension for me. And, you know, I'm really grateful at the fact that I had to take the route that I did, but it happened by accident, unfortunately. Like I didn't get started this way, which is why I'm making this video, hopefully for the sake of saving you time. But I tried to start different business models, right? I tried to start an agency, a short form content agency, and it just never worked out. But it wasn't necessarily my fault. I was just led down that path. So instead, what I did was I eventually learned that I needed some skills, some high value skills, some skills that can give me some leverage, because in reality, when we get started in this space, we have nothing. We've got no leverage. We've got no connections. We have no referrals. We have nobody to give us a helping hand. So we need to figure out how to make that happen. How do we learn those skills? And of course, the number one skill that I am always going to talk about to make this first $1,000, as you guys probably know, if you're a returning viewer, you guys know I always push people towards high ticket appointment setting. And the reason being is, with high ticket setting, life is honestly pretty good. And the reason being is that, number one, you only have to work about 4 to 6 hours a day, right? The work itself is actually pretty easy. And I would use a word simple instead of easy, but nonetheless, like, it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple to actually get the entire process, okay? And then how would I put this? Like, everything is set up. Everything's already set up for you, right? So you don't have to go and, for example, like the appointment setting that I'm specifically talking about is becoming a 1% setter. And what that looks like is when you're in a position where you have leads coming directly to you. You don't have to go and do a bunch of cold outreach. You don't even have to call people, right? It's not like a phone gig or anything. No, you're just in the DMs talking to people that are willing to pay $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 price points to give you a 10% commission return. And in all honesty, guys, like, what I have endured in my, experience of actually being a high ticket setter is I have been fortunate enough to be able to make as high as $800 in commission for a 5-minute conversation with somebody. And I know it's a little bit absurd to look at it that way, but that's just my reality, right? That's actually what happened, which is awesome, right? But that is the power of what can happen when you end up positioning yourself with a really high value skill set. So again, kind of going back to what we were talking about here, really what we're looking to do is make this first $1,000 online. And again, it can be different skills. I will always push people towards high ticket setting, but you can do it with video editing, right? You can do it with, maybe copywriting. I want to say that one's a little bit more advanced and difficult. But I'm always going to push people towards setting, super simple, don't have to work a lot. You could do it part-time for sure. And yeah, so we need to get that first $1,000 online. So that's how you start, right? Learn the skill. And what ends up happening is you need to figure out how to navigate here. How do you navigate towards the 3 to 5K a month mark? And this is where things get pretty cool, because I'm sure with that amount of money, making it consistently every month, you can leave your 9 to 5, right? You can leave your 9 to 5 and actually just fully start to focus on your entire journey, how to actually develop. And truthfully, the only thing that really needs to happen in this situation is you need to double down on what got you that first $1,000 check. You literally just need to get better at setting. You need to develop a little, or you need to devote a little bit more time. And then you need to develop a better understanding of how just advanced things work as an appointment setter, like sales cycles, nurturing, stuff like that, that again is for higher level people. And in reality, I know I say 3 to 5K with appointment setting, but I've had people make 10K a month, right? I've only had one student inside of my private coaching company make 10K in a single month. I've personally made 11K in a single month, but it's possible. It's definitely there. It's just all about positioning. But again, what I'm talking about here is what the average person actually goes through, what the average aspiring entrepreneur goes through. So you can make 3 to 5K, go full time, fully focus on everything, and just double down on what got you that first couple of checks. And this last step is where things are definitely going to become a little bit more advanced and are going to require a little bit more effort for you. And that's where you get to this magic number, right? You get to this 10K a month mark that everybody wants to get to and that everybody highlights. And things are really good at this point, I'm not going to lie to you. But what has to happen here, how do you get to this 10K a month mark? Again, you can do it with setting, but you're probably in your best, you would be in your best interest to develop something else, to become a little bit of a higher level individual here. And this is what this looks like here, right? This is becoming a CSM or a closer or a manager of some sort. And I know manager doesn't sound super sexy in the online business space, but it's pretty cool because you get to manage people that were in your position. And I'm specifically talking about, setter managers, a sales manager, a client success manager. If you guys don't know, it's essentially the person that is fully devoted towards making sure that the clients of the program that you're partnered with are getting results. So you're really just checking in with them, sending messages, maybe taking occasional calls every week. But this is high leverage stuff right here, right? This is really difficult. It's a big risk to business owners. And again, you're taking on more responsibility. So, there's levels to this, like I mentioned, but that's how you get there. Again, let's kind of go ahead and review this entire process here. I want to really make sure I kind of drive home the idea of making sure that you take steps towards getting to that 10K a month mark. Because again, a lot of people would try to sell you that dream, and unfortunately, you really just have to accept reality and understand what the actual blueprint looks like. And just to end it off, I want to go ahead and make a couple of side notes here, just in terms of this actual visualization that we have here. Starting at step number 1. Is not bad, guys. It's not bad. I don't want you to hate your situation because you think that you should be at a different level. You should be ahead of where you are, but that couldn't be further from the truth, right? You're in the specific situation that you're in for a reason. So make sure you own it, because the minute you take ownership, that's when you can actually create a bit of a game plan and decide, you know what, I'm going to fully focus on making sure I can learn the skill that will get me to step number 2. And then at step number 2, again, you just fully dial in. And this is where you go monk mode kind of, right? Eventually, once you get to that higher level, you will have opportunities to make sure you just dial in. But this is what it takes. I hope this video helps, guys. I did my absolute best to visualize it, at least what I had in my head, and put it on paper here, in this case an iPad. Now, if this video resonated with you and you want to climb this exact ladder that you see on the screen here, check the link below. I would love to chat with you and help you form a bit of a game plan towards guaranteed entrepreneurial success. With that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.